Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk about some of the leaks that we've been seeing come out about this new ship from Kruger. It's very interesting, and this video will have spoilers. If you guys don't want spoilers about the ship, just kind of a heads up right at the top of the video. But I want to go over all the information we currently have about the ship and kind of talk about it a little bit. So first off, I want to start and look at the lore to kind of see what's the concept behind this ship. So let's get right into this video. In 2955, Kruger unveiled their most ambitious endeavor yet, the L-21 Wolf, as the first ship the company developed and manufactured completely independently. Based on original design created when Kruger was first working on the Merlin, the ship's unique retro-futuristic look was beloved but deemed too expensive to produce due to multiple manufacturing challenges. Finally, building on centuries of industrial experience and the skills learned during their invaluable partnership with RSI, Kruger developed new production techniques that allowed them to make the Wolf without compromise. Very interesting. So basically, this is their first standalone ship. Of course, they have the Merlin and Archimedes, which are two variants of the same ship design, but this is something a little bit more. So we also have some images of this ship, so we can take a look at that. So this was a sneak peek that CIG released recently, and this is basically the cockpit view. So it's pretty obvious here that we're going to have two primary MFDs. This section here in the middle was part of an earlier sneak peek, and this circle here is basically a clock. And then you have the flight sticks here, dual sticks. So it's, easy to assume that this is going to be a fairly nimble ship. A lot of people are saying it's going to be a light fighter. People are saying it could be a racing ship. Some people are saying it might have a hover mode where it can fly hovered or fly in the skies. Some people are saying it won't have a quantum drive. I think personally this ship is more likely going to be a light fighter, something that is kind of akin to the A5X or the 100 series. It's going to be a single-seater ship. I don't think it's going to have an interior, just a cockpit. So I think a light fighter makes sense. It could be a racing ship, and even if it isn't a racing ship, a lot of people use, the Gladius and the Arrow in racing. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe CIG makes a racing variant down the road. But I think it makes sense for this to be a light fighter. CIG showed off some concepts of this ship in an episode of Inside Star Citizen or Star Citizen Live, and we'll take a look at some of those photos as well to kind of compare what it looks like now to some of those concepts. Alright, so here we have some screenshots from the Star Citizen Live where Jared talked to the ship design team. They kind of went through some of the options. So as you guys are already noticing from this image here, if you have seen it already, it looks like they've gone with design A. This basically looks like what the leaked image looks like. But you can see all the other designs here. This one was also a pretty cool looking one. This one was okay, but it kind of looked a little too, it had a little too much scale and size to be a light fighter. Kind of same thing with this. This, again, looks a little too big. This looks cool, but it looks a little bit too much like the Merlin and the Archimedes do. I think this one right here, in terms of scale, this looks very sleek. It looks very nimble. I think this was kind of the best looking one for that. And then we have some other angles here that you could see the larger ones. Now this one doesn't look too bad from this angle. Again, this one I think just looks too big to be a light fighter. This one looks pretty cool actually from this angle. Again, this looks kind of cool, but again, with the guns all the way out here, I'm not too sure. Then you have A, and again, I think that's the one they went with. You can see a better image of it here. It has kind of this circle in the back, the little winglets, the gold canopy, the engine nacelles on each side, and the guns built into the hull of the ship. And again, based on size, this looks like 2 size 2s, and I think that's kind of a good, weapon size for a light fighter like that. Um, Again, here we have it from another angle, and looking at this image here, and if you were to go and compare it to what we seen, it basically looks kind of like one for one. Like this concept translates pretty well into what we can expect from the finished ship. And again, I think the ship looks gorgeous. It's very beautiful. You can see the size and scale there to the player character. So it's not going to be tiny, right? But I think it's going to be, again, a good size for a light fighter. And then it's just a cockpit there, no interior. So again, if you're looking at it here, the way it is, we go back over to look at what it looks like in game, kind of the leak image of it. Then we have the image of the actual ship itself. Kruger reveals the L-21 Wolf. The company announces their first ship made entirely in-house. You can see it here. It has engines on the side, one in the back. The cockpit canopy here. Very sleek design. Very reminiscent of the Naboo fighter. A lot of people are kind of saying that. It kind of looks like that. I do like that retro-futuristic design. So here, actually, you could see at the back, I think, is where most of the changes from the concept happened, right? Because in the concept image, there's kind of this circle area with small winglets. It looks like they've put an engine back here, right? So instead of having that open circle, you just have more thrusters. And I do think that's a good idea. It looks, a little bit sleeker, a little bit better. Of course, this whole ship, has the rule of cool. So you really don't need to go overboard with, certain things. But let me know what you guys think. Did you like the circle back there? Do you think an engine makes more sense? I want to know. Personally, I like the engine, but I think the circle was cool too. Now, it also does not appear to have the the guns. So with the concept ship, as you guys saw, it had guns built into the body. I'm not entirely sure where the weaponry on this version is going to be. Maybe it has a single weapon in the front here. It looks like there's kind of an opening here that we also didn't see in the concept. Maybe the guns come out from the body, kind of like on the 400i or the 600i, right? Or even the Starlifter, right? The C2 has those doors that open up and the guns come out. So that's, fully within CIG's capabilities. They can, have the guns into the side here. Door opens up where you see this light and the guns come out either side instead of having the guns permanently fixed into the body, right? Then it also looks like it has some maneuvering thrusters, one on the winglet here and then one closer to the body. So I think the upgrades that they've made in the design kind of streamline things a little bit more, to make it look a little bit more cohesive. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how they implement this ship in the game. And here is essentially the loading screen from 4.3. So what people are suspecting is that this ship is going to be straight to flyable for 4.3, and there's going to be a ship sale. CIG is doing this year, where essentially all of the new mainline patches every month has a ship sale. So more likely, this will be the next patch's primary ship sale. And they're kind of talking about here the Second Life event, extending that into 4.3. This is a great thing. This is something that I've been saying. I hope that they do, because when the Second Life event came out, it was very bugged. It's still bugged. I was running it today. I got through Mitro Tech. I'm now working my way through ArchCorp. Tons of elevators are still broken. I ran into about 4 broken elevators today. I had to drop a bunch of different missions. Of course, you can, some of the other missions are now starting to pop up for me. So that's good to see. So it's not just the cargo hauling, you can go out there and you can reclaim cargo and do that type of stuff. That is another option for people who don't want to deal with the elevators. But when the patch first came out, that was basically the only mission you could do, and all the elevators were broken. It was a huge pain in the butt. So it is good to see that they're actually giving us more time to do this event. People want those rewards, and if you have players playing the game, it's only a good thing, right? You don't want players to quit. Oh, I don't have enough time to do this content anymore. I'm just going to give up. This is kind of light at the end of the tunnel. You don't have to rush it. You have more time to do it. More people are going to jump in and play, and that's a good thing. So I'm glad to see it. But yeah, there's a little bit more detail on the ship here. So we can read this here. Kruger Intergalactic stole the show during the annual Cutting Edge Expo in Sherman with the unveiling of the L-21 Wolf, their first ship to be exclusively designed and manufactured by the company. This individual hailed the ship's sleek form factor and head-turning aesthetics. Kruger's head of design, this individual, told the press. Our frequent collaborations with partners RSI and Bearing have been a huge source of inspiration to us, and we're excited to share our unique vision of ship design with the verse. So that is kind of a little blurb there, kind of talking about the ship, the introduction of it. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. I think this will be a very popular one. The biggest question I would have to say is the price. So I haven't really seen too many people throw their opinions on what this ship is going to be priced. So this is kind of what I do on this channel. I'll kind of throw a number out there. I think this ship, being a single-seater fighter, you kind of look at competitors like the Arrow, like the Gladius. The Arrow is 75, the Gladius is 90. Realistically, I think something like this is very attractive looking. I think CIG might price it on the higher end because it looks so cool, and because you're gonna have, those individuals that want something sleek like this as a light fighter. Even though there really isn't a light fighter meta right now, it could be, I don't think it's going to be OP, but it could be very capable, right? So I think they're probably gonna price this 110, 120. That's my guess. Of course, it could be more expensive depending on the loadout. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think the price is gonna be? And what do you think this ship is going to be used for? What kind of weapons, loadouts do you think it's going to be? I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Are you excited? Do you think we need another light fighter? All that stuff. I want to have those conversations with you guys in the comments. I love talking to you guys. But with all that being said, that's going to be it for this video. Like to always say at the end of these videos, you guys, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Salute.